I did tell her today, talked to her on the phone. Hopefully something works out for him. It's about time.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
And I tell some people today, after a while, it's normal that you'd be depressed. And there's an article in the paper yesterday saying that something like 2/3 of all people who've been out of work for a year are depressed.
Well, my business has slowed down, and
yeah, so is mine.
And so I felt so. That's why my passion is photography.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm going to do some stills for you guys.
Oh.
For Nikki to help her out today.
And well, it's been 20 years, if you can believe it. And of course, I don't look a day older than I did 20 years ago, which is amazing. You know, given I guess it's just good camera work, don't you think? Funny how that works. Good. And I was just a child. I wasn't any better looking, but I had darker hair, fewer wrinkles, and thinner.
This is that oil mattifier to keep.
Pardon me?
This is that oil mattifier to keep us from having to reapply.
Good. Still want me to say something else, Phil, or not? Or just sit here looking gorgeous? I'm giving.
Open it up a little bit. Just a little moisturizer. Okay, motion together. Okay, so.
Very good.
Thank you.
Here we go. Just don't let her get away.
And then through 310s.
Okay. Blackberry. So shut it. I'm going to kick you off if you're ready. Okay. Now you didn't shut down. See, here's what happened yesterday. You shut my computer down at the lake. That's what caused.
Where are the restrooms?
This over here, you can omit your address and city and zip and just sign for me after you do the others. Oh, right, she's almost done here.
You don't need my address.
No, I didn't put up my name.
I don't need to tell me your phone number.
I know it doesn't here, so we didn't decide.
And you want to email, what is your email?
Oh.
Doing Twitter, we always close with the right thing, and you put it there at the end, and so I'm not closing with thanks for inviting us in.
No, that is supposed to be
Well,
the end.
there were some that it's kind of written into.
The thing.
And so
What we're going to try to do, Dennis, because this is really important, is you're saying that in a very casual way.
Yeah.
Hey, and don't forget to follow, because it's also, some of that is on the voiceover, and then in all likelihood on all of these, thanks for inviting us in. That's what you're closing with.
Well, yeah,
that's
but
typical.
I'm not on one of the other two, but that's okay. I'm not going to change it right now.
well, I can switch them around real quick.
Yeah, but if it's already built into that, it may be hard to make it sound right, if you know what I mean. So
Okay.
So if you leave it like it is, unless you can make it sound right.
You got it.
Okay.
Because this is one of the last things we want them to see. That's really critical.
Well, like the next to last thing.
Well,
I suppose the last thing.
not the last
thing
thing.
is that.
The last thing is this.
Right.
We're good on this
Okay, we're
one?
good. Yeah.
Oh, let's
yeah.
take
Please.
Yes, I took the talking about things that matter with people who care and put arrows to put them at the end, but
The federal government
Unless you're
took many
used to
quick
that.
actions in the wake of the credit crisis in order to stop the damage, and now it wants to implement new regulations to prevent future problems. I'm Dennis McCuistion. Join us as we examine changes in corporate governance. Period. Period.
I think this might be
So I know I'm believe me. And then if you were in Washington, D.C., what would your response have been? Okay, then the graphics come up there for those wanting us to share what the government has done and is likely to do are.
Thanks, Emily.
I hope you'll take the time to follow the events we've been discussing. To some extent, the actions are understandable, and if they result in better governance, then we'll all be better off. To the extent there is bad policy, however, then we'll all pay the price. Don't forget to visit our website and post your comments about this topic. And follow us on Twitter, McCuistion TV. We've been talking about things that matter with people who care. Okay, I think we've got it. As long as we get the graphics in there, then hey, we'll be good to go. All right.
Here's what we're going to do for front row people.
Okay, I'm
I'm
going
going to
to
ask the
be.
volunteers up front. We're not going to have names.
Okay.
And then the panelists for the ladder program starting at 6, so that would be 1807, 8, 9, 10. The panelists who are not on the first program will be sitting in the audience and vice versa. So we already have their names.
Okay.
And I'll go over with you who they are so we can mark them. Okay? So it should be fairly simple and straightforward.
Okay, I'm going to go out and wait. I'm going to make a pit stop now. I'm going to go out and wait for promos if that's.
I believe we're still waiting on audio.
On audio?
It's going to be a few minutes.
Okay, so we'll go back to make up.
You might ask MB.
see who's there.
I don't know what ETA for for audio is. So.
Can you just give me a copy of 1805 and 6 for the moment?
Please. Yes. Actually. In fact, here is your complete set right here.
Look at that. Otherwise, I will not remember. Well, hello.
Good
what
to
a
meet
pleasure.
you.
I loved our conversation. I wish we'd had another hour.
I know. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did.
Be good.
So I'm looking forward to
This is going to be good. This is going to be
It
good.
is.
Bill Truebird, nice to meet you.
A pleasure.
We
meeting
didn't have a
you.
conversation.
Well, we had a quick one.
It's been quite a week.
But it went well, I hope?
Yeah, it did, went very well.
All right. What I need from you gentlemen, and look at this.
My thrilling date of seeing the final decree.
Now you're on Match.com. How's that going for you?
Well, I met a guy that
Oh,
is
yeah.
pretty nice, but I've also met the Nigerians asking me for money. And they all say they only have a radius of 50 miles from where they live.
Supposed to call
Hi.
you Your Excellency.
No, not at all. How are you?
This was Kevin Gilliland who said that.
Very good.
A
Nice to see you.
pleasure, a
Good to
pleasure.
meet you.
We have you down, and is it Chris or Christopher that you prefer?
Christopher's good.
All right, great, because that's how we have you on camera. We have you as an activist. You also want author, actor, what?
Actor, author, activist.
All of them.
Very good.
Done deal. We can do this.
Hi, Nikki, Kevin, congratulations on 20 amazing years.
Dennis.
Dennis.
Do over.
I do teleprompter.
Do over,
so
I can do that.
Listen.
Dennis, Nikki, congratulations on 20 amazing years.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I thought I saw hair.
I called him Your Excellency.
Well, your turn.
Next, please.
All right.
And then, Chris, let me make sure that I have your intro correct as well.
And if you would please give us your autograph on this, and I'll get the rest of that put on up there.
Okie dokie.
I'll let you do that, and then I'll read this to you. Sure. Do you prefer Christopher or Chris?
Christopher's begun.
Christopher. Okay, Christopher Lawford. Should I use Christopher Kennedy Lawford in the first time or not?
That'll be good.
Okay. As a public advocacy consultant for care and treatment centers. He's also the author of New York Times bestseller Symptoms of Withdrawal, a memoir of snapshots and redemption, and more recently Moments of Clarity, Voices from the Front Lines of Addiction and Recovery. In March of this year, he was appointed by California Governor Schwarzenegger to the California Public Health Advisory Committee, which provides advice and recommendations to the Director of Public Health on programs and policies. Is that accurate?
That is
Does
accurate.
that work? Okay. And then just calling you Chris the rest of the time is okay? Okay.
Based out of Minneapolis.
Right.
We really work all over the country.
Right?
Chris and I have known each other. We actually met 24 years ago in AA in New York.
Really?
Yeah, which was,
As an alcoholic or
having
as
earned a seat in the rooms.
earning? Yes.
Yeah.
I have a whole family
Yeah,
history
yeah,
of that. Yes.
And sort of got reconnected 10 years ago.
Really? And because you guys had gone beyond and decided to do what? How did you get reconnected?
Oh, no, he was speaking at a conference in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
And I walked into a room and there he was speaking.
Wasn't that great?
because he had relocated to California and I had stayed in New York.
Yeah.
Now, Bill, where are you out of?
Minneapolis.
Ooh, it's cold there.
It's cold there right now.
Yeah,
It started already?
It started, as a matter of fact,
I
I'm
talked to my
leaving.
stepmother yesterday in Iowa.
Yeah, I'm leaving at 5 o'clock Friday morning. Hazleton is celebrating its 60th anniversary this Friday. And I've got some people coming in from New York and whatever. And we had scheduled to play golf on Friday. But I don't know that we're going to be able to do it because they're calling for a frost.
I saw that.
I'm always amazed at the statistics of the number of people this affects versus the much smaller number of people who actually try to get help. So I mean, to us, it's really if one person, maybe I could be more.
I mean, less than 10% of the people get treatment. A lot of people just don't feel comfortable talking about the elephant in the room. So it's just about kind of opening up dialogue.
You know, and to Chris's point, we talk about other illnesses that run in our family. If we've got high blood pressure or breast cancer or prostate cancer, hey, remember so-and-so, you know, you need to be checked out, you need to be aware of these things. But, you know, to Chris's point, addiction carries a stigma where one generation, if they've gone into treatment and recovered, yeah, they push that back. They don't share that with the generations to come. And we know it runs in families, which is just another way of saying the genetic loading. It does run in families, but families don't talk enough about, I did have a problem, I got into treatment, or, you know, I got into treatment, I went to prison, came back out, I'm now clean and sober. These are the reasons why you need to be careful. And we don't talk about it enough.
I assume it's because we figure if it's prostate or breast cancer, it just happens to us, whereas there is often volition here.
There's volition.
Not often.
There's volition. There's volition in a lot of chronic medical conditions.
Yeah.
Obesity,
obesity, diabetes. No
there's a load of. And
that's a good point.
Certainly, you know, and I think that needs to be addressed.
Like this. But I mean, you know, cancer was similar to this 10 years ago. People didn't talk about cancer. So I'm encouraged by what I see out in society in terms of the ability for people to address this more and be more honest about it. There's a movement afoot, and there's a lot of good signs.
And the cancer analogy.
And Daryl, do we have you with us yet, Daryl Staten, in video?
You want me to run back?
No, I think we'll be all right. It looks like it's actually might be pretty good. Let's see where he lands. I think we're okay. Let's see. We get our shot.
A little close.
You want it in focus now, don't you? Come on. Work with me here.
I'm thinking, is this the new look? I like the way it looks.
Maybe that is bold, but maybe a little bit.
Okay, now we can hear you. I'm sorry. What's he saying?
I was just asking the size of the prompter, if it was
Maybe
okay.
maybe a touch bigger.
Okay, coming right up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we can hear him now. I just had the volume turned down in here because of that
a
tone
little
thing.
less than that.
You know, to where his
That'll work.
first line is. Okay. And we're
I
going to
can
do
do
that.
that,
Emily, tell him we're going to do these in order. So it's starting with the 1805, and then we'll do that 1811 one at the very end, even though we've already done that show.
I'm ready.
Okay, so Christine, roll.
MB is too dramatic in lighting.
Yeah, I think we need him to. You need to truck right and get him a little. That shadow off his. Yeah, that's a good catch, guys.
In an odd spot there.
Yeah, that's better.
John is often in an odd spot.
Yeah, let's get that this last couple of. Actually, I don't mind a tight like that. I think that looks pretty good.
I like it tight.
Go ahead and get him dead
When
center.
you're an odd
and
person, do you often find yourself?
we're okay, Emily, on chairs. We're good.
Okay.
That's perfect right like that. And there's no push on these. These will just be stationary, John. So, any other questions from the floor? I think we're ready to go.
We're ready to go too, so
Christine, roll record.
we roll. Rolling, everybody.
And we're in. Coming out to Dennis. In 5, 4, 3, 2, John, kill tone. 3, 2, 1. Dissolve mic and cue.
Often we try to put numbers to addictive behavior, such as that connected to drugs and alcohol, but the biggest cost is personal. People die, families disintegrate, businesses close. I'm Dennis McCuistion, and I hope you'll join me and our experts as we explore the costs and causes of addiction.
Now tell them, please, the next time just a tad slower.
Okay,
This one.
that was very good. We're going to move on to the next one, and a
Just a
tad
tad
slower. Stand by, Dennis. And we don't need tone in between these.
He said that's the opening of part 1.
Oh. And John, we don't need tone in between here. Okay, stand by, Dennis. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dissolve mic and cue.
On part 1 of this 2-part series on addiction, we talked about the causes and personal costs of drug and alcohol addiction. I'm Dennis McCuistion. Please join me and our experts this week as we discuss what can and should be done to prevent, treat, and cure addiction problems.
Very nice.
Nice.
Mary Beth,
Slower.
Yes?
it didn't go to black though, did it? Didn't you go from the slate to him?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dissolve mic and cue.
On part 1 of this 2-part series on addiction, we talked about the causes and personal costs of drug and alcohol addiction. I'm Dennis McCuistion. Please join me and our guests this week as we discuss what can and should be done to prevent, treat, and cure addiction problems.
Better.
Very nice. We're glad we did it over again. Okay, moving on. Still 3, 2, 1. Dissolve mic and cue.
The federal government took many quick actions in the wake of the credit crisis in order to stop the damage, and now it wants to implement, I don't want to say it that way.
Okay. Okay, we have mic open
I
for
really could
changes.
use it.
I need to get Dennis.
Okay, 1807, is that where we are?
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead and roll record. Still no tone. And roll record when you can, Christy. Thank you. And we're in. Stand by, Dennis. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dissolve mic and cue.
The federal government took many quick actions in the wake of the credit crisis.
Come on.
3, 2, 1. Dissolve mic and cue.
The federal government implement new regulations to prevent future problems. I'm Dennis McCuistion. Join us as we examine changes in corporate governance.
Good.
Excellent. Moving on.
The shortest one, and I screwed it up twice. Government bailouts, bankruptcies, and financial scandals led by Alan Stanford and Bernie Madoff have indelibly left an ugly mark. I'm Dennis McCuistion. Whatever happened to ethics? Or has corporate ethics become an oxymoron?
Good.
That was really good. Alrighty. Keep rolling. 4, 3, 2, 1. Dissolve mic and cue.
You're painfully aware of the fallout from corporate scandals in America, but what you may not know is what impact our problems have had in China and around the world. I'm Dennis McCuistion. Join us when we look overseas to see how they see us.
Good.
Excellent.
The excesses on Wall Street have given free markets a bad name. Has Wall Street quit building capital for entrepreneurs and become only a bunch of greedy capitalist pigs? I'm Dennis McCuistion. Tune in to get an idea of what some people think of Wall Street today.
That's good. It's good. Come on the TV show for this one. We actually have a pink piggy bank with money, you know, the pun on words of happiness pig. They're good. Let's go.
Okay, back to the
We're
top
done.
10 for
Let's go.
1811.
Come on.
You know, you can go
Oh,
stop.
gee. That was fun.
Bill George as we discuss leadership in times of crisis.
No.
No?
No. No, do it again.
We went that one more time?
Yeah.
Okay. We're still rolling? Anything
A
differently?
little more enthusiasm. This is a good topic.
Good topic, a little more enthusiasm. Coming 2, 1, dissolve mic and cue.
In the wake of corporate scandals and credit crises, fingers have rightly been pointed at corporate and government executives. I'm Dennis McCuistion. Join me and former Medtronic CEO Bill George as we discuss leadership in times of crisis.
Is it Medtronics or Medtronic?
Medtronics or Medtronic?
Is it Medtronics or Medtronics?
So we need to do it over again, or he said it correctly? He said it correctly. Okay.
And it was typed wrong.
Okay,
Thought
very
so.
good.
All
Okay,
right,
thank
cool.
you. Dennis is clear.
See you soon.
And stop tape, check tape.
Tell Emily I'm bringing people in.
I brought the
Yes, and say
We're ready, Chris? I'm going to bring people in.
Okay.
Okay.
In the wake of corporate scandals and
silence. Is that power or what? Like that. Welcome, everybody. We are ready to go into the studio. And first, a show of hands. How many of you have been to our program before? So you have some idea of what's going on. Just one or two. So hey, we'll help you. You'll get involved and help us see people. Okay. All right. All right. Anyway, welcome. We really appreciate your being here. It is a very, very important topic, as you know, and we have great guests. And all of you, in essence, are part of the guests. How many of you think that you're going to have something to say? Any kind of comment, or may I see a show of hands? Believe that you are going to have something to say, whatever that might be, whether it be a story or you're in healthcare of some kind and you want to talk about your experiences from that perspective. I'd like you to stay pretty close to me because you'll be seated right behind Dennis so that he has easy access to you. That's why I was asking that. Sometimes what happens during a program is you may not have raised your hand right now because you're feeling a little shy. You don't want to be a celebrity. Remember, you're on camera, all right? Your nose is shiny, whatever it might be. But sometimes what happens is that you will have a comment during the program. And Dennis will repeat this, but it doesn't hurt to say it a couple of times. And that is, hold your hand up because he is looking around for just that. If the Spirit moves you, just say what you need to say, all right? We welcome that. And just a couple of very quick things. Standing over here, Emily Eldridge, who's been with us forever, and she's going to help get all of us back in the studio. I'm Nikki Nicastro McCuistion and co-founder, producer of the TV program. We've now been on 20 years. Wow. Now, thank you. Here's what's really special. We are independent, which means we do not get any funding from KERA or government agencies. So we raise our own funds because we believe that issues like this are so very, very important. So your being here helps us do what we need to do to get word out of whatever that topic might be. So really welcome. And Phil Thompson, our camera guy, once you come into a studio, there's cameras everywhere. And one of the things that we're going to be doing, which is really kind of fun, is for our 20th anniversary, we're going to do a series of programs, but also show what goes on behind the scenes. So how do you make all of this work? So if you care to say something, or congratulations on your 20th anniversary, or after the first program, there'll be a short break, and you care to say, this was really great.
Really addresses a lot of the joy.
Are you attending Essential?
Yes, no, I haven't.
But he wasn't on the stage. It was Phil Jordan was on the panel.
Oh, yes.
Well, for instance,
I hope I'm not losing anybody. This away? Excuse me.
No. Do I have a question? I don't know why I was here, quite frankly. They just told me to I was in Europe the last 3 weeks, and they told me to show up. A lot of stuff right there. Lighting.
Sit in the middle section. You can sit in the middle. You can take this way up there, wherever you're comfortable. That way we can know what's going on.
Children,
You want, but we need some folks to fill in these chairs here. Come on in.
Family, and it turned out their dad was losing his memory.
There are 3 chairs over here. Ladies, gentlemen, if you want to start filling in there, be good. Would you like to sit right there? Never? Okay, there we go. And if not, let's slide over to the chair.
you want me to just take the labels off the bottles, or do you want me to do what? Well,
How are you? Good to see you.
Good. Right over there on the end. Yes, because you can't click during.
I know that. I want to make sure that you and I are on the same page with that.
We are.
No.
Then you're on this end, sir? You are in the middle? Okay. I'm Emily, I'm the floor manager.
Well, good.
Last year.
Oh, God, can you believe it's been that long ago? The problem's already been solved, hasn't it?
I saw them.
Can I, how you all doing?
Good, how are you?
Great.
Good to see you.
Yes, that would be absolutely the best.
Got it?
Got it.
You got it? You're all set?
Yeah, I don't, he needs no work. It's like, born ready.
Okay, if I could have all of your attention for just a minute.
Hi, my name is Greg.
First of all, I am delighted that you're here, and so thank you so much for coming. I wish I could tell you that this topic was going to be something that will be fun and games, but it's not fun and games, even though I'm sure there'll be some humor attached to it. But it's obviously a tough topic that some of you are more familiar with than others, and hopefully most of you are familiar with it as I am because of something that happened to somebody else, not to you or your family, but I suspect there may be some challenges there. So how many of you have never been in this audience before? Let's see the hands if you've never been here before. Okay, that's most of you. There are a couple of three things that happened here, and I'm going to read off this thing in the beginning and at the end, and you folks sitting behind me, try not to lip sync along with me. If you just try to resist that, that would be appropriate. Secondly, we have over here something that looks like a television set. We call it a monitor, and it will have pictures on it of what's being done. And we have 4 cameras. 2 of them are behind you. You don't have to worry about them. They're there to take pictures of the people who are sitting in front of you. These 2 cameras here are here to take pictures of me, which is really important, of course, but also of you. And taking pictures of me is not going to be a problem. Since we've been doing this for 20 years, I'm sort of accustomed to it. But for those, you will have your picture on camera from time to time, and your face will show up over here on the screen. And so here is the typical thing that will happen. Once you see out of the corner of your eyes that you're on the screen, you're going to go, wow, aren't I pretty? And then when you do that, you're going to see, when you see this for real, that you just turned your face away from that picture and looked over there like, why did you do this? Others of you will think to yourself, I'm really smooth. I can cut my eyes and look at myself and nobody will notice. No, the camera will see you cut your eyes too. So I'm going to ask you to forget this thing over here, except when I am showing you some graphics that'll have some numbers on it, and you can look at this screen. The rest of the time I'm going to ask you to be really, really diligent and don't focus on that screen. Is that fair? Give me some of these if you've got this. So watch them, watch me if you must, but primarily them. Now then, is there anybody here who thinks they might want to ask a question during one of these 2 programs? Here, just hold up your hand. Let me see you right now. Okay, here. And by the way, just because you didn't raise your hand doesn't mean you can't ask. All you have to do is just sort of raise your hand like this, and I'll come over to you when I can. I have to work past these cameras. You'll see Emily in a minute. She'll tell you some things. She'll be my other pair of eyes. So that's fine. And then if I get you to ask a question, you can see they're doing what they're doing. If I get you to ask a question, I'll hold the microphone. Don't even think about taking it away from me. Okay, so that's okay. And I'll come over to you. And if you're sitting on the front row, I'll probably ask you to come over and stand next to me if you're on the front row. But otherwise, you guys just sit right there. I'll get to you. No problem. Now then, one or two other things. The first program is going to be on the cost and causes of addiction. So we're not going to talk about treatment. We're not going to talk about 12-step programs. We're not going to talk about any of that stuff until program 2. So if you have a question about costs or causes,
ask it in question in program 1. If it's something about treatment, ask it in program 2. Has everybody got that? Treatment in 2, costs and causes in 1. All right, what am I missing here? Emily, tell them what you want to tell them.
Okay, first and foremost, thank you for being here with us tonight. We really appreciate it. I need you at this point in time to turn off all your cell phones and all your wireless devices. Please don't just put them on vibrate. They will interfere with the wireless microphone that Dennis is walking around with. So we do need those actually turned off. And we appreciate your cooperation. And that goes for the crew too. So, you know, don't feel all alone there. I will be Dennis's other set of eyes. If you have a question or a comment to make, he may be sitting with his back to you, looking at the panel, talking to the panel. If you will just look at me and nod, I will point you out to him when a timely fashion happens. You do not need to get up or move or anything else at that point in time. I'm just literally pointing you out to him that you have a question or comment, and he will get to you. He's the person with the microphone, so if you yell out something across the room, we will not hear that on tape later. So he needs to be with you with the microphone to be heard later on. One of my jobs tonight is to get you to applaud. We applaud at the beginning of the show and we applaud at the end of the show. John, are you ready to hear some applause?
I am.
Okay, let's get everybody ready to applaud. At the end of the show, when Dennis stops talking, we'll still be seen and heard. They roll credits over shots of us. So
talking about things that
we're going to applaud for what seems like a really long time. Just a second, I'm right in the middle of something. I can hear you. I'm talking right now. I'll be right with you. We'll applaud for a really long time. So don't just jump up and start running out or assume that you can't be seen when Dennis stops talking, because there is still a little bit going on at the end of the show. I'm going to bring up the lights in just a second. Anybody got any questions? Does anybody have a cough? I've got some cough drops over here if anybody needs one standing by. We need you not to take a drink during the show because we often are taking shots in the audience. As Dennis told you, don't turn over and look at yourself. It's really tempting to do. But because the water bottles have labels on them, that's advertising, and we can't do that without permission. So we need you to... Oh, I'm sorry. Did I? I had it out all like that. Here you go. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I'd shortchanged you there. There you go. I'm sorry, MPI was right in the middle of trying to talk to them. What can I do for you? All right, I'm going to bring the lights up.
Now you will find that it will be look a little different here in about 5 seconds when she turns the lights up, so be ready for that. Go ahead.
Okay, we're good.
When we are going to get this one.
Well, there's one way to find out. Christine, roll record. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, open.
McCuistion, talking about things that matter with people who care. Production of McCuistion is made possible in part by individual viewers, supporters of the Foundation for Responsible Television, the Hatton W. Summers Foundation for the Study of Teaching and Self-Government, the Meadows Foundation, serving the people of Dallas, Collin County Business Press, locally relevant, personally profitable, and Sundown Ranch, one sundown at a time.
6, 5,
and applause.
4, 3,
and resolve my computer.
You know, we often try to put financial costs on addictive behavior, but the personal costs are even higher. People get sick, some die, others drive while under the influence and kill others, families disintegrate, and yes, businesses go broke. This is part one of a two-part program on these issues. In part two, we'll talk about what's being done but for care and treatment centers. He's also the author of New York Times bestseller, Symptoms of Withdrawal, a memoir of snapshots and redemption, and more recently, Moments of Clarity, Voices from the Front Lines of Addiction and Recovery. In March of this year, he was appointed by California Governor Schwarzenegger to the California Public Health Advisory Committee, which provides advice and recommendations to the Director of Public Health on programs and policies. Chris, welcome to Dallas as well. Chris, you have a unique story. You have a reason for being involved in this industry. Tell us about it.
Well, Dennis, this is, drug addiction and alcoholism is the #1 public health issue facing this country. It doesn't get a lot of attention, saps a lot of our resources. I have a particular interest in this because I've gone through it. I started using drugs and alcohol when I was 13. I used them for 17 years. I tried to get sober for 9 of those years. And I was a very highly functioning addict. I went to college, I went to law school, I got a master's certification in clinical psychology from Harvard Medical School while fully enmeshed in my active addiction. So the stereotype of the drug addict or the alcoholic who's lying in the gutter in a raincoat is not true. This disease affects everybody. It affects, the federal government's figures are 22 million, but I think it's much greater than that.
As a frequent visitor to the McCuistion program, this program on addiction tonight was one of the best that I've ever seen, and I think has the opportunity to impact more people in a positive way and help more families than any other program that I can imagine right now. So thank you all for doing this program. I know it can have a positive impact.
I would agree with all of that. Yeah. Well said, Jim.
The taping was really great. They talked about addictions and things like that, and I really enjoyed it. Happy anniversary for the 20th taping of McCuistion TV. I think it's cool how it's. I don't want to do it. I got nervous.
Dennis, first of all, congratulations on your 20th season. I think you did a great job on this episode of assembling a panel of people who are obviously experts in the field, have overcome their addictions themselves, and their personal accomplishments show that this issue is not just for people that are on the street or people who don't have the capabilities to do other things in life. It affects all of us. Anyway, I thought it was a great way to draw the issue out, and I'm looking forward to the second part of the series.
Dennis and Nikki, congratulations on 20 years. That's wonderful. I actually got to come for the first time to the studio to watch you tape live, and it was awesome. Just the way that you really are doing a good job at just getting real answers to real questions. And I've been able to watch you on KRA for a while, and I really enjoy your show. So congratulations. Better?
I was raving about last time I heard you. Wow, no. And I did have to tell him, no, don't come to me. Yes, I really want to hear. So it was so I didn't share any of your stories, but I do enjoy them.
The people in the field are one thing, but the people that have been impacted by this disease, once you get sober, like me, you're 22 years old, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm going to go on and be an actor, leave me alone. I'm not even, I go to my meetings and I'm cool. But I think maybe it'll change.
So, I just love that. Not just for them.
Did you read the book?
No, you were talking about last time you were in town.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, when I was 6 years old, Marilyn Monroe taught me how to do a twist. But I wrote that in my book. But everybody goes, whenever anybody says, especially men, they're like, wow, Marilyn Monroe taught you how to do a twist. Man, what was that like? And I was like, I'm 6.
6-year-old.
Yeah, this wasn't 5 years ago. I was 6.
What did you wear that dress?
She used to come over all the time with my mom. She was good friends with my mom. She would walk. But I do remember she definitely had a.
I think it's helped me in intervention.
Which clearly, if you're gonna have the short span of life she had, and then have this kind of iconic.
That's exactly Office notes. Exactly.
Sure. I really enjoyed the personal stories from the gentleman up on the stage. And also from the audience, I think they really made the issue of treatment and addiction, the human side of it, is really good.
I'm just really thankful for all the new research that's been done on drug addictions and alcohol to hopefully change the mindset of people and get the help that people really need now instead of just shunning everyone.
Sometime, I'm wrong here, but it's like the third Sunday in November, and the following it might be December 1st if that's a Sunday. But then there's pledge, so I have to work around it. But we'll email you. And keep checking the McCuistion TV site.
Website,
That,
and we'll send that out.
Yeah. And these shows will also be on the website. So if people aren't local and we air in several cities around the country, you can send the link. We'll be blogging. We invite your comments. Okay? All right.
We'll see. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we'll send you DVDs.
As a physician, I really enjoyed this program. In medical school, you learn a lot about addiction, but it's almost from a social point of view, and it's interesting now to see the more medical approach and how it's viewed as a disease, and that there are some very tried and true treatment options available to people now. So I'm very thankful for that, and that message is going out to the general public as well, that people do have options, that there are treatment options available for them, that it's not just a social disorder.
Time.
But I think it looks just fine. This way, so the videographer can get you as well.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So the before and after.
Yeah. No, just part of the behind the scenes. I actually get you losing weight, that's for sure.
That's perfect.
And when you get done, I do have wipes to take this off.
Okay, great.
So just. That was not anywhere in
Oh, that's strange. Oh, there you are.
What I need to do here?
Signature
and date?
I got going in there.
Problems now, we solved those now, we just sort of solved corporate governance would be okay. This should be easy.
Snap.
Should be easy compared to that, that's for sure. Because that's Sharon Allen, Deloitte, Todd Bluedorn's here somewhere. He's, I guess, in makeup right now. And
I think we're only missing Robert Royer.
yeah, where's Royer?
Well,
so who can go check out?
we're checking it out, and Emily's going to find him and bring him back.
Okay, good. So I say if we need to, we can do the corporate ethics one first, and if Royer's somewhere en route or whatever.
We have your emails to let you know when he's here, right?
Nice to see you.
Hi, Jerry Richardson.
Hey, Chris Lawford, nice to see you.
Chris is all over the place. Sharon is the CEO of Deloitte in New York.
Well, I know.
Ed runs the Carpenters Union in New York.
Very good. Nice. Well, I'm a union man, so...
Francis tries to keep the people straight as much as he possibly can in New York and D.C., and Jared is from here.
Yes.
So that's one of the problems that he has to. He deals with energy. So.
Well, thank you for what you do, because I do a lot of this stuff, and we very rarely get people that care enough to really examine things in the depth that you do, and I appreciate it.
You're very kind.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Safe travels. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Anyway, just sit.
All right. Restrooms are right over here, just in case.
Francis is not dressed together.
How are you? Do you know that there is another person with the same
this and many other things too.
Yes, and so I always stop and say, okay, which one are you? Which X are you? And I think she hit EPPES. I did literally sit there for hours trying to get that straightened out.
He just retired.
You know, you never know these days. I don't know.
Thank you. I'm not sure if I put it in. Okay.
I'm actually the director of residence at UTD.
Nikki coordinates disaster.
I do.
Angelina, Nikki McCuistion, the producer. Magic, thank you. Well done. Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you. Good, it works. That was my big deal.
President and North Carolina.
And you might even be speaking.
Are we speaking or answering questions?
I can type it up in the right house.
So is Dennis going to ask us questions?
Dennis is going to ask our questions.
Is he going to do like he normally does?
I can go. Coach, I'll write a note. Can you do this?
Thank you, Emily. Yes, you're all set with Roy. You got all 4 panelists. Beautiful. All right, there are. We're good.
How are you, sir?
That's what I thought, because when I talked to Cindy, she's in LA, right? So I'm a little confused. She's my cousin, right?
You know, a couple of people because I have to use
Hey, Bob.
It was this.
You going in?
Thank you. Okay. 4 or 5, whatever it takes. Whatever we got. Can I get y'all to
So now, even a
wave at
reaction
this
shot like
camera
this
for
of
me?
Dennis,
This is Nikki
it
and
would be okay with.
Dennis's behind the scenes camera.
Okay.
Wave. I'd love to get you in the shot, yeah. Unless you have something you want to say.
A few of these. No, that's
I thought I would relieve you of that burden.
I think y'all are going to interview me later.
Oh, wow.
Oh, good.
Because I'm one of the 20 years.
And, okay.
Hi there.
Gosh. Lapel pin.
Thank y'all very much.
Just do a quick look at your jacket so you can come off any. Go ahead and stand up. Yeah, you can look this way. Documenting the 20th anniversary
20th anniversary of
McCuistion.
Of the show.
Of the show.
Oh, well, I guess we should comment on it then when we get on the show, shouldn't we?
I don't know if they'll have you wearing this or not,
Well,
but
I can take that off.
they'll tell you when you get out there.
That's all right, I'll take it off right now. I don't have
Okay.
to worry about it.
Come on in.
orders canceled, orders they were working on they didn't get. And he said, before all this credit crisis came up, we hope to do $10 billion trying to make a point
The
for
fact
seat
is, they
picking.
did the same thing for all of Las Vegas.
As if they weren't thinking enough out there with all the
Guess what? We're getting ready to
housing. And it's the same thing in Las Vegas and West Palm and St. Regis. Who won the football game?
I was talking to him. He wondered why is he worried about Idaho's football team.
So they won.
They chairs need to go on.
That's a good thing. What a great tie that is, Bob. What a great tie. Have you met these folks here? Todd Bluedorn, Lennox, Bob Royer, and Sharon. You're sitting on the right hand.
There's not as much interest in us?
Well, I don't know what Connie has.
I need to get right there.
I have no idea. And nobody in your organization has those issues, but so if you have kids, you know, that have the issue, or you have the issue and you have kids, or if you have you're a big company and you deal with big companies, but small companies in particular, big companies have the problem too, but small companies, and they got a couple of brother and sister running the company, and one of the kids is addicted and trying to. And. So yeah, I mean, yesterday I interviewed Bill George right after breakfast, and he was here for Dallas Business Journal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you want to sit over. It's up to him. It's up to Nikki.
This is my time of night. It's not everybody's time of night, but it's mine.
No, that's good, as long as it is. I was
as long as you guys get up, you guys get up for one program.
Okay.
Okay. And then you remember even though the Democrats have
these folks are on our website. Say hello to Sharon Allen, the boy. Hi, Sharon.
arguably the closest we can.
Sharon runs the Lord, those small CPA firms, as far as I can tell. We actually
I'll go ahead and get this mic on. Do I need to turn the black?
Does that work for you? Okay.
Follow that.
She had signed the illnesses,
Oh, yes.
healthcare, and well, why should we call her? Speakerphone, we're just like, wow.
And sir, how about right next?
All right.
Does that work? All right.
Can I go up there?
Yes, please. And Angelina, I'd like you on that end seat. Okay, hi. And let's see, is there another spot here? Yeah, see if you can. Does that work?
Happy 20.
Happy 20. 20 great years and 20 more great years. Keep it up.
We just have 2 chairs right now with John.
And Sharon Allen is one of them. That's Sharon Allen. Okay.
Okay. We need to hear your microphone. Is it here?
Can you hear me?
Is that good, John? All right, thank you. Our audio guy likes to listen in and make sure he's got everything going beforehand. Thank you.
Properly. Okay. You're easy. That was not a problem at all. Thank you. That's good. Except I kept trying to put Sherry with your name.
Oh, did you? Well, that's because we have Sherry
McCuistion, right. They both start with an S.
Max Hopper right there.
Is this where you want him?
Oh, that's fine.
That's fine. And then Angelina in the pinstripe suit.
Angelina, I didn't
right
see
there.
Angelina. Long trip. Long trip. If you fall asleep, we'll
throw something at you.
No, we'll overlook it. We'll overlook it.
Sure. You'll be saying these great words, and all you can do is look at yourself on camera and go. Trust
How
me.
can I do that? Why isn't my tie
Amazing.
straight?
Why isn't your tie straight? Your tie is not straight.
My tie isn't straight?
Your tie is not straight.
We
Can't tell.
May I?
By all means. I think they want it to cover the microphone. So.
Right, but what I also want, if you don't mind.
Let me ask you to take your name tags and put them in your pocket somewhere. You'll need them sometime later probably, but not right now. Secondly, let me see the hands of those of you who have
not been in this audience before, not been here before. Okay, that's the majority of you. A couple of three things. We really would love to have your questions. So if you have a question for these folks, it would be a great thing. And here's how you get my attention. I'm usually having a dialogue with them, and a lot of times they'll be talking to me. So you guys just talk to me or talk to the audience, whichever you want. And I will often be looking around. I'm listening to them. So I'll be looking around, looking for your question. So just sort of hold your hand up, and I'll come around to you with the mic like this. I'll hold the mic and not even think about grabbing it. So I'll come over to you and then just get your question. If you can, address your question to one of the three. And the folks up here are Francis and Ed and Bob, if you can remember Francis, Ed, and Bob. And so we've got the guy who consults, the guy who's got all the problems with the union folks here, and the lawyer who creates the problem for everybody else. And so that's kind of what we're here. And we're going to talk about on this program the government response to the crisis in corporate governance. In other words, what's happening with the government response. We'll talk about stuff about what the government's doing, what unions are doing, and all kinds of neat things like that. What stakeholders are involved is here, and all that. So that's what we're going to talk about here. The next program will be on corporate ethics, and whether that's an oxymoron. So you'll get to that, and then we'll have something to eat. So just relax, have a good time. Now then, I'll be reading off the teleprompter behind me here. At the first and the end of the show. If you folks here cannot lip sync with me, Sharon, do not lip sync this teleprompter. It looks a little weird. If you'll try to resist that. And then lastly, from my standpoint, before I turn you over to Emily, we have a monitor here which looks a lot like a television set to most of us, and that's what that is. As we get started, we have 4 cameras here. The 2 that you don't have to worry about are the 2 back here. I have to worry about them. They'll be taking their picture off and on up here. The 2 that we have to worry about in front of us are this one and this one. They will be here to take my picture and yours. And taking my picture is something I'm very accustomed to, so it won't bother me. But what happens is when they take a picture, whatever picture they're taking at the time will show up on this screen over here. And sometimes they'll be taking your picture. And when they take your picture and you see it out of the corner of your eye on the screen, you're going to be very tempted to go, wow, that's me right there. That is not a good thing to do because the camera will see you going, oh, wow, that's me. And so even try to keep from cutting your eyes because they will see your eyes as well. So I'm saying see yourself on video later, not here. And then you'll watch this when we have some graphics which I'll use, especially in the beginning, so you can watch when I'm reading graphics on that, but otherwise if you'll not pay attention to that, I'd appreciate it. Now Emily's our floor lady, so Emily, you're it.
Okay, tag, I'm it. First and foremost, thank you for being here. We need you to turn off your cell phones, not just to vibrate, but all the way off because Dennis is using a wireless microphone and it causes interference. And that goes for the crew too back there. And do you gentlemen are your phones in the other room, or do you have that we need yours turned off as well? So thank you. One of my jobs is to be Dennis's other set of eyes. So sometime he may be talking to the panel. If you have a question or a comment to make, hold your hand up. I will see you. I will point you out to Dennis. It doesn't mean that you have to get up or do anything, but when he turns around and look, you might just, acknowledge who he's looking for. Because he's the only guy with a microphone. And if he doesn't come over and talk to you, we can't hear what you said later. So it's very important that he actually gets to visit with you and be with you when you ask your question and make a comment. I will also be the leader of the applause. We will applaud at the beginning of the show and at the end of the show for what will seem like a very long time. Even after Dennis stops speaking, we're on big shots where they roll credits over for a little while, so we need everybody to stay put at the end of the show and just keep clapping. I know it will feel like a very long time. So, are you ready for some applause, John? Okay. I'm sorry, what? All right, let's hear it.
You're out.
Now, who thinks they may want to ask?
I'm sorry, I didn't see the answer. Which one's Robert Potter?
Okay.
He's not there.
And Max Hopper, did we get him?
And what about Max Hopper?
Yeah, because I believe he's in the middle right behind Dennis in the second row. There he is, yeah.
Okay.
in the center of the 3 people.
Okay.
And I'm going to pull this other
Papa, when did you change batteries in the headset?
At the end row.
We can have to
Can't miss it.
reset the clear com, but I don't know, will it come back
Right up
quickly
here.
there, or do you have another
There's a
option?
woman sitting at the end. You could be up here.
Okay.
She is Asian. She's wearing a pinstripe suit.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't have
Oh, no,
her
I'm
key.
sorry.
Yeah, you do. Angelina Klein.
Which one? 94? Okay.
She is one of the panelists on the China program.
Okay.
It's not too big a deal. Makeup's coming back out there right now.
All right, you're good, I think.
And do you want to double check the panel?
Her, she comes by.
Just
I think she's
make sure
coming.
that we don't have to get a little in.
Okay, we're double checking name.
Edward J. Durkin.
Yeah, makeup's coming in to do one
And
last.
help me out because my eyes aren't
So
great.
should we
Robert
look for
Royer.
people behind Dennis again,
That's good.
which would be Todd.
Sharon Allen.
He's sort of sticking out into the lane.
Todd
a little
M.
bit.
Bludorn, yes.
Sharon is in the,
Jared Richardson, yes.
and then to the right of that is Jared.
Yes.
MB is the gentleman on
Yes.
the end in your shot in the aisle. Is he in
That
Fort
should be okay.
Oh, right.
I
Yeah,
don't
just give me a
know.
second here. I
But here's the good news. It was Dennis who
Actually, one
checked.
and
Right, exactly. Your hands are clean.
And he missed the spelling of his own last name. I love it. I love it. We can point that out to him. All right, good. So he didn't want the ones after dinner being made up. Great. Yeah, so we're good. Good. Everyone looks great.
30 seconds to
Francis
be open.
Bird looks really good. The coloring.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Server 1.
McCuistion, talking
And
about
by
things that
applause,
matter with
followed by
people who
Dennis on
care.
camera 2.
Production of McCuistion is made possible in
Sorry,
part by
we've
individual
started.
viewers.
She goofed, you can get in.
Thank you.
All right,
I'm
thank you,
Robert
and you are? Oh, come on.
And behind me is my wife.
Hi, Nikki McCuistion. Hurry up, we can do this. I mean, that was great. It doesn't normally happen, but you guys know what miracle. That was funny. That's it. Okay. No more glitches, no more people.
All right, good deal.
I never successful man, there's a wife trying to hold him back. Get a shot.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Server 1.
McCuistion, talking about
Stand by
things that matter
30
with
seconds.
people
Followed
who
by
care.
camera 2 to Dennis.
Production of McCuistion is made
Followed by
possible in
still
part
shot.
by individual viewers. Supporters of the Foundation
Wait,
for
that's
Responsible
still shot.
Television, the Hatton
you
W.
need it for
Summers
like-
Foundation
need a
for the
title.
Study of Teaching
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
Self-Government,
yeah. You're right.
the Meadows Foundation, serving
15.
the people of Dallas, Collin County Business Press,
Keep me
locally
honest.
relevant, personally
10,
profitable,
9,
and Sundown
Stand by
Range,
applause.
one sundown at a time.
6,
And applause.
4, 3, 2,
And camera 2.
You know, what if I had told you in 2007 that these things would happen? See if you would have believed me, and then if you were in Washington.
It wasn't me. Joe did a great job talking about leadership and all that, so he's just one of my favorite guys. You're supposed to finish on this program. We're about to celebrate our
Another.
too, so it's amazing.
That's good.
Anyway,
Thank you.
You tell me when we're done. I didn't want to let you forget it.
I would have forgotten.
Okay.
What's this guy in the middle's name? I really enjoyed. Oh, you ready? I really enjoyed the comments that Ed made. It gave me a new perspective on unions and their involvement in the pension plans and the shareholder community.
fairly early on.
Okay, he says number 1 will be fairly early on.
I'm introducing them left to right and talking to the right, just like
And it'll be left to right intros and talking to the right. And we're hearing that out here in the studio. Thank you. I'm hearing something.
I was waiting to hear something. I don't know what it was.
I guess they were checking the tapes. I think they were checking those roll-ins to see if we could hear it.
Yeah. Well, I saw skilling on there, so that's what.
Yeah. Yeah. No, MB just needed to know which order you wanted them in and when you were going to.
That was the question I
That's a good question. Do they, or in your estimation?
No.
No, really?
I have never seen up close. Now, there may be a case out there somewhere.
Yeah, but in
where
general.
I've never seen or heard of one.
Man, I just wanted to get at what the SEC was.
Someone has a question, do you want to contact you?
We talk in these acronyms all the time, as you know. And most of our audience.
That's it.
That's it. I don't get a prize or anything. I don't get a no conference.
All right, the two of you are here?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Emily. Tell me all about yourself.
Hi, Emily. I'm Jared Richardson. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. You need more?
Yes, I need you to talk for just a little bit for the audio
I'll
manual.
talk some more.
Actually, we're good. I just need him. I have to get you to talk till he tells me to. The voices in my head have to tell me to stop. So that's your turn, Sharon.
I'm Sharon Allen, and I agree that it did take forever to do the copy before. You were right on your instructions.
Well, that's why I have to. It feels like forever to me too.
That's correct.
That's right.
Yep.
So you need more from her? All right. Todd, when you get a chance, could you talk? I just didn't know if I needed to shift some chairs around, if you wanted chairs in different places.
Let me do a last check.
We're just doing a quick audience check to see if there's anybody we're missing.
Okay, Samuel Hepburn.
Some people are getting up and down.
One up, one down, that's not good.
Yeah, but I guarantee you, 3 minutes before he gets on, he does. I can assure you that.
Do you want me to move anybody? Dennis, do we want to give our speech again? We don't have to.
It's same people.
They know this.
All right.
There's Connie over here. He's the star.
I have only one
Do you want me to? How do you want me to shuffle on it?
All right, let me do a fun.
Do you want me to shift anybody around? Good? Yeah, it's like I thought.
He's kind of like auditing. It always costs more and takes longer. I tell people, I said, if I never hear the numbers 404 again in my life, I'll be a happy man. Those are the days.
We're ready over there.
Did you get anyone to say anything?
Attempt to answer the question, is corporate ethics an oxymoron? Ethics is just one of the topics that will be addressed tomorrow at the University of Texas at Dallas's Institute for Excellence in Corporate. What in the world are we talking about? If there were any, what would they be?
Well, I think there are, and I think sort of a baseline I think most people agree with is just basic compliance and day-to-day language, don't lie, steal, or cheat. And while there's some nuances around that in the corporate workplace, I think another big aspect of corporate ethics is courage. Intellectual courage, moral courage, an ability and a willingness to speak truth to power.
Hop back up here. 1, 2, 3.
For you.
And one more.
If you look at a lot of older shit, everybody's
Nikki, you may want to get in one too.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Excuse me?
1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Okay.
We have incredible food in that room.
All right, one more. Stand.
That's great, thank you.
Hold that up. I was like, another one. Just tell me when. Okay. I enjoyed the show. Enjoyed both participating and watching Dennis interact with the panel members and the audience. Thought it was very well done.
congratulations on your 20th anniversary.
Certainly vegetarian. Alrighty, would you like a little more rice in that then? The rice?
Just a moment of your time. First of all, I think that the performances we saw there were just outstanding, and our friend McCuistion just never misses. I want to especially thank the firm of Russell Reynolds for making possible this lovely spread, and I just look forward to the rest of the taping that's going to take place after we're finished eating. So enjoy.
Oh, I know, isn't it?
Yes. David Tice.
No worries there. Well, there are some people that have been in Dallas for a long time that are not taking this properly.
Strauss, Power, and Phil. Make sure we got all the hotel information. Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Relax, we'll come and get you shortly.
Okay.
We're good? Yep, we're good.
Left all of our sheets.
Two people that were the last minute, they didn't sign it.
And whoever, what was that?
One of them's a panelist, he doesn't have to, the other one's his wife, I will get her right.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
his wife, that's
Give me
what it
white,
was.
give me a piece of paper. Piece of paper, I will get wife.
She's missing.
She's missing
She's
in
in that
action.
time of night where she's missing words.
All right, this is good. And let's just relax, whatever. The caterer has some of my decorations in with his.
Yes. He
That's
grabbed them.
okay.
Okay.
But I would very much like them all back.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. I was like,
Right.
that looks like a board that we put in
And
our
we put
boards.
because we had him sitting there and he grabs them.
So,
Okay.
you know, let's eat for a few minutes
Okay.
and not, don't have much time, but we'll do it. And then just put all of my decorations in one place in that bin.
Okay, they'll
All
leave
of
this
them.
here
Don't let him
for
keep
now.
one.
No, I don't think he will. I think he just
No,
saw
I
it.
know that.
No, use it.
Well, they're pretty.
Yeah.
Nikki, do you want me to bring these or you want me to leave these here?
5 seconds here.
The show was really good because it really brought together the various pieces of the puzzle and kind of integrated it very well. And that was one of the very good parts of the show.
Okay. Well, I really enjoyed being part of this show, especially in the last. Now let me start that over again. Okay. I don't do very well on this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. So I really enjoyed being part of the taping of the show. It was really fun to watch Dennis in action. I've seen Dennis in some other situations, and I also like watching him on the program. I think the topics are of great interest. He brings some good people in, has some interesting perspectives. I like the idea that you don't just how would you say? There's some nice tension and conflict and some interest that he brings to the show.
It was a great show. It certainly gave us a good understanding of corporate ethics and what was needed and what was lacking. And I thought it was well done. Dennis did a great job. The panelists were excellent, and it was well worth the time. And I really enjoyed it. And congratulations on your 20th.
That's the area from which
I just thoroughly enjoyed the show. It really presented a lot of issues and a lot of solutions to some of the issues. Dennis is a great host, and congratulations, Dennis, on your 20 years. And again, I thoroughly enjoyed the show. Thank you.